to play my 2018 Gibson Les Paul Classic with P90s. We're going to find out if it's any good. This video isn't like other videos out there, you know, where they talk for like 7.5 minutes and only play the guitar for a minute. We're going to play this quite a bit, but I'll just try to save the yammering until later. Also going to be doing some quick comparisons of 4 other guitars. And as always, signal chain is listed in the description down below. There's also chapter markers, so if you want to jump around, you can do that. But enough talking. Let's get after it. So you can't really do a review on YouTube unless you talk about the specs, right? So I'm going to try and do that quickly, then we'll get back to the sound samples. Starting off, we have a slab mahogany body with a bound carved maple top. This is all covered in gloss nitrocellulose. A slim taper mahogany neck that has a bound rosewood fretboard with the trapezoid inlays. On the front of the headstock, you'll see the inlaid Gibson logo along with the silkscreened Les Paul model, and of course, the truss rod cover says classic. On the back of the headstock is where you'll find the Grover Rotomatic tuners. Potentiometer-wise, we have 4 Gibson-branded potentiometers with orange drop capacitors. It's also hand soldered. We have a 3-way toggle switch, which controls the 2 P90 pickups. And for a bridge, we should have an ABR1. However, I swapped all the hardware over to gold, and I just have a Tone Pros Nashville-style bridge. That's all the specs. Here's 5 more sound samples. And just as I say in all of the review videos that I do, the next part I'm doing to appease the internet. I'm trying to prevent tears from forming themselves into comments. It is beneficial, but we are going to play this in a clean setting with all three pickup positions. Personally, I've always enjoyed hearing how the pickups react to a little bit of light gain, light drive, so here's that. Now, as I did state, we have 4 hand-soldered Gibson branded potentiometers that have the orange drop capacitors. Let's go ahead and wiggle around some knobs and hear how they sound. Now the P90s that are in the Les Paul Classic with P90s are the same P90s that you would find in the what should be TV yellow. However, I'm partially colorblind, so this might be somewhat green Les Paul Special. So the exact same pickups. The Les Paul Special is just the slab of mahogany, does not have the bound carved maple top. The neck that's on here is actually a Fat 50s, so baseball style. It's still bound. We have the dot inlays, and it has the vintage style tuners. But as far as P90s, most people, when they think of P90s, think of the Les Paul Special. So let's go ahead and do just a quick comparison between the 3 pickup positions so you can hear the difference. You may be curious on what P90s sound like against something like mini humbuckers, because in the lineage of Gibson, humbuckers actually followed P90s because of the cavities that were in some of the Les Pauls. were kind of too small for humbuckers, and mini humbuckers were available from Epiphone. So whenever you see this type of mini humbucker design, that's actually the Epiphone mini humbucker design. So I do have my Gibson Les Paul Deluxe here. This is a 1999 30th anniversary. So it has the same stuff here, slab mahogany body, carved maple top, and it's a bound body, bound fretboard, rosewood, mahogany neck. This here does have a medium C rather than the slim taper. The tuners here are the Gibson Vintage Deluxe rather than the Grover Rotomatics, and I'm not quite sure if this is non-weight relieved or 9-hole weight relief. I have read specs that state both, but at the time here, it was very rare that some Les Pauls would actually be non-weight relieved, and they would just be 9-hole weight relieved. They're both the same weight. So it just could be that this is a heavier stock of mahogany with 9-hole weight relief, which kind of was often what was used. But I'm going to stop talking about these here. Let's just go ahead and do a 3 pickup position comparison. Of course, it's only natural that you'd want to hear P90s compared to humbuckers. So this is my Gibson Les Paul Standard 60s, which does have the same specs as the Les Paul Classic. So this is a 60s slim taper neck, this is a slim taper neck, slab mahogany, carved maple top, both bound, mahogany neck, bound rosewood fretboard, and both of these have the Grover Rotomatic tuners. Both of these also have the orange drop capacitors. However, the potentiometers here are the CTS audio taper rather than the Gibson branded potentiometers. But again, let's go ahead and just quickly hear the 3 pickup positions so you can kind of hear the difference. And just as of note, just so you don't look it up yourself. These have the 61R and 61T pickups, which I think now are just branded the 60s burst buckers. finally, you might be curious to hear the P90s, which are single coil pickups, against traditional Stratocaster single coils. So what I've done here, this is a 2017 Fender American Professional, so it's the American Professional one. So the pickups in here are the V-Mod ones. We can do a comparison here. Alder body, maple neck. It's a carved alder body. So maple neck, rosewood fretboard, unbound. We have these sealed non-locking tuners. They are staggered, so it does have the one string tree in here, and you know the specs on this. So let's just go ahead. I don't want to do all 5 positions in the Strat, so let's just do just a regular position 1, 3, and 5, otherwise known as bridge, middle, and then the neck. Alright, so that's it for all of the different sound samples and comparisons. It was a lot, wasn't it? I'm sorry. So it is at this point where I do like to talk about whether or not I think this is a good guitar. And like I say with just about every other guitar, it is a fantastic guitar. But this actually has one of the distinctions of being one of my favorite Les Pauls. The fact that this is non-weight relieved, and it just has mojo for days with the P90s here. I can really spend like a week just sitting around and playing with this guitar and different amps and just being inspired the whole time. The slim taper neck, before this guitar, I wasn't the biggest fan of slim taper necks. But since that point, I've really come around on them. They've just really grown on me, and a lot of it has to do with this guitar. And I will not lie, one of my absolute dream guitars would be the Gibson Les Paul Custom 1954 edition, the one that has the P90s and the staple pickup in it. So that's why I did gold swap the hardware, and as well I got the Les Paul Custom pick guard here, so that's why you're actually seeing the multiple plies rather than just it being a complete black pick guard. I haven't gone as far as putting the staple P90 in this guitar. I don't think I can actually do that because it would hurt my feelings too much and just kind of remind me that I'd probably never ever own a 1954 Gibson Les Paul Custom. So playability, this guitar is just an absolute dream. It's just like, you know, most other Les Pauls, you do have great access to the upper frets. Sometimes the 22nd fret does require you to kind of maneuver your hand a little bit. But other than that, it's not really plucky or anything. It's not like an SG. It's just a really solid feel when you're playing leads. That also carries over to playing rhythms on this guitar. There's just something, to me at least, we all have our different preferences, but with a non-weight relieved guitar or a non-weight relieved Les Paul, you just feel a lot more presence in the body itself. So in your body and in your hands, you feel a lot more of that mid-range, upper mid-range, rather than the low end where you would feel if this was like, say, a matted finish, so like satin gloss nitro or satin nitro, and weight relief. What would end up at that point is you would feel in your body, you would feel a lot more of the low end. To some people, that is awesome. That is exactly what they're looking for. Just to me, not really. I much prefer feeling a lot more presence in my playing. And if I can shout it from the rooftops, I probably would. P90s are just such overlooked pickups. Because they're single coil, and you can get hum from them. You definitely can get hum from them. A lot of people seem to shy away from them, but with a really good noise gate, you can actually get high gain tones out of this that will sometimes put humbuckers to shame. But there's just something about P90s that they're aggressive and they have a lot of attack to them. And you can still get just some beautiful low end out of the neck. And I don't know, I think it's a shame that a lot of people, especially in the more modern eras where they kind of more look at humbuckers and all the different type of actives and all that stuff, they just won't experience P90s and really hear what you can get from P90s. But that is all I do have to say. I love this guitar. It is, as I say about a lot of guitars, fantastic, but it's just almost like it's a part of me. It's awesome. So that's all I have to say about this guitar. Thanks again for watching. I say good day.